I just put this in just to put up the idea that when are you actually a schizophrenic? When are the hallucinations that you have abnormal? And so to a large extent, it's a cultural convention that we decide that we have some people who are abnormal and who need treatment. And just to make that point, I would like to point out that we can actually all see things which are not there. So I guess that all of you will see a circle there, but there is in fact no circle. It's just because the lines have been moved a little bit, and then you start to see a circle here. You see a triangle there, but there is no triangle. So there are no lines which have been drawn there, but you see this as being much more bright than the surroundings. But that's a delusion. It doesn't exist. You're hallucinating. In this case, I guess you see that these lines are not straight, but I can assure you they are completely straight. These lines are completely straight, but you don't see them as straight. So again, you cannot see things straight. And here you see movements, at least those who are sitting right in front of it. But there are absolutely no movements. So we all have some kind of hallucination. I think this is one of the worst, because here we tend to find faces in the cliffs, in the clouds. Even in vegetables we can find faces. And this is the way that our brain works. We have a brain which likes to find faces and images and everything. So if we see an abstract painting or whatever, we tend to try and find something which makes sense for our brain. But it's not necessarily there. So, side issue. What we do know is the problem in many of the schizophrenic patients is that some of these connections do not develop, and especially connections between the frontal lobe and the parietal lobe have been demonstrated to be less developed and having an abnormal connectivity. And this you can actually demonstrate also behaviorally in a very simple experiment. Having subjects making a movement, but not seeing their own movement, but seeing a video image of their movement, then their task is to decide whether it's their movement that they're seeing. But now and again you exchange the video of their own hand with a video of someone else moving their hand. And normally healthy subjects will immediately see if it's not their own hand moving, especially if it's not moving in exactly the same way. Schizophrenic patients have a lot of problems deciding whether it was them doing the movement or whether it was someone else doing the movement. And that is neatly explained by the lack of development of these connections, because those areas in the parietal cortex seem to be involved in monitoring the movements that we're doing, signaled from areas here in the frontal area. So simply by not having a good connection between frontal areas and parietal areas, so that you have less of a feeling of what your own body is doing, your brain makes up what is going on here. You get confused, because when I do a movement like this, I know I did this movement. But if you don't have that information, then you easily end up thinking that it was someone else doing that movement. It wasn't me. This is not my hand. And this is probably what is happening in the schizophrenic patients. So treatment, this is what we have available.